Okay, here we go. So I'm going to start doing them this way, and we'll see how that works out. Oh no. Oh no. I had to park kind of tight. So, just a second. Sorry about the noise. Woo! Going crazy. I had to park kind of tight today. There was some shenanigans in our parking lot, and so to kind of make everything safer and easier on my coworkers, I folded my things in. I folded my wings in, and I can't believe I drove around downtown Seattle and didn't even realize I didn't have rear view mirrors. But there they are. I don't have to like merge lanes until I get to that, until I actually get on the freeway. It's, you know, it's turns and in and out of traffic and whatnot, but I don't actually have to merge lanes, so I don't use the wing mirrors. I'm gonna try I'm doing facing this way. It's less than ideal because the lighting is not good, and so it's just going to be dark for the most part. I did one that I thought turned out looking okay, but like I said, it's just going to be dark for the most part. So I don't know if my face will be visible at all, or if, you know, the glow of headlights is going to be enough. It's enough for me, but I got human eyes that can interpolate, and a human brain that can make stuff up and pretend that that's what I'm seeing. Camera does not have these advantages, so you on the other side don't quite have those advantages either, because you're stuck with what the camera sees and not what you would be seeing. I gotta watch out for yawns now that the camera's pointing at my face. Trying this with the main camera. It's a better resolution camera. We'll see if it looks okay. I've also got one in the pipeline with the front-facing camera, and I thought that one looked okay. So if this one looks good, I'll keep it. If it still looks junky, then I'll just switch around to the front-facing one, because at least then I can keep an eye on whether or not I'm visible. I have no idea what you can and cannot see right now. Could be anything, could be nothing, could be shaky max. I can't tell. So find out what I've done. Stories, and things. It's New Year's. No, it's not. It's the 4th. May the 4th be with you. January the 4th be with you. Can you even make a pun out of that? I don't know. It's 2016 now. It's time for everyone to ask each other about New Year's resolutions. I think I've made a bunch of New Year's resolutions in the past, and I'm pretty sure I've never followed through on any of them, so I don't think I really want to do that now. I want to keep doing this because I'm enjoying it, so that's as close as I'm going to come to a New Year's resolution. Yeah, I'm going to take it as I come, and I'll just resolve one thing at a time. It's nighttime, so the headlights are kind of bright, so they're kind of shining out of my rearview mirror and into my face. And I'm wondering if that helps make me more visible. Like, I don't know if that's enough light for the camera to pick up. Because on the one hand, if it is, keep it. Because what's the point of a video if you can't see anything? That's dumb. I might as well just have a podcast. So there isn't really a place for me to host and upload a podcast. I bet there is. Probably not SoundCloud. I'm sure there's some service that will let me just put up sound files, right? I mean, YouTube? That's not really what it's for, so I'd rather stick to the videos. The other side of that, since there are lights in my face, it's a little bit distracting, and it makes it kind of hard to see what's going on behind me. There's a little switch underneath the mirror. What it does is mess with the actual mirror. So the rear view mirror inside your car, and plenty of you probably already know about this, but maybe some of you don't. And as it's a thing I know about, I'm just gonna do it, and if you already know about it, well then that's great and you can skip. Just when I talk about something else. But the mirror in your car has a little toggle on the bottom of it. I'm sure you've played with it by now. And it messes with the way it works. What happens, it's dependent on the shape of it, but the way the rear view mirror is built, there is a somewhat reflective sheet of glass or plastic, probably plastic, some kind of acrylic or something. And then behind that is a solid mirrored surface. So in one position, the two sheets are in alignment. So light hits and reflects at one angle. All of it comes out, and that's your daytime setting. When you hit the switch, it swings the solid bit a little so that it's reflecting in a totally different direction, usually up into the ceiling or down into the console. And then the only reflections you get are from the like acrylic or the glass, which reflects a little bit, but not much. You can't see a whole lot of detail when you're doing that, especially not at night, but you can see the headlights behind you, and depending on how reflective they are, the line markers. And often that's all you need when you're doing night driving. And that is because when a wave hits a surface, or when a wave encounters a refractive barrier, that is to say, a difference in refractive indices between two materials, when it encounters a boundary, some of the wave is reflected off of the boundary, and some of the wave is refracted through the boundary. And I don't have the equations on hand because the way I was taught involved using formula sheets, since why would you memorize those equations? There's no point. If you need to figure that out, you can look it up. So in those classes, they said, here's a sheet for a bunch of equations. Make sure you know how to use them and know which one is which. Some is refracted through, some of it is reflected back. And then the angles at which these happen are determined by the reflection is determined by the incoming angle of the wave, and the refraction angle is determined partially by the incoming angle and partially by the ratio of the refractive indices. And that leads to an interesting thing, where when going from, let me make sure I've got this right, a surface with, or material with higher refractive index to lower refractive index, think, say from water to air, there is an angle such that the angle of refraction is greater, or would put the refracted light back into the original material. And that's the angle of total internal reflection, where all light that hits it goes back in and doesn't go through the boundary because of the way the angle of refraction is set when it reaches 0 relative to the boundary. So your boundary, your high index water, your low index air, and the light comes in, and the refraction, so light goes and it's refracted. When that refraction is equal to the barrier level, you have total internal reflection. Which is why when you're in a pool or in a lake or something, if you look out, there will be a point away from you, so you'll be able to see out above you in a ring, and there will be a distance away from you when you look out where it will look like a mirror. And you won't be able to see through the pool at that angle. And that's the point of total internal reflection. Which is an awesome example of why pure science is important. This seems like really esoteric, weird stuff. Like, okay, cool, it's shiny on the far end of the pool, but what does that actually mean to me? Well, if you have say a Morse signal done in flashes of light, you can only get it so far because the light scatters. If you take a material of high index, sheathe it in a material of low index, and then don't bend the resulting tube too much, you can send that light about as far as you want, and all of it will arrive, or very nearly all of it will arrive at the far end. Which means you can route light through pathways and get past barriers or around curves, and that's how fiber optics work. You have a fiber of some kind of glass and a fiber of some other different kind of glass, and now you can transmit signals, light signals, around corners or through mazes. It's how endoscopy works, where you put a camera on the end of a tube, or put a little lens on the end of a tube that's just a fiber optic tube, and then you can poke that inside something or someone and see what's going on, say in their gut or something like that, or down in their throat, a place where you can't actually stick your face. So you can do all kinds of excellent medicine stuff with that. That's super cool too. You can do other things that are great, and whatever they are. Why is everyone slowing down? Oh, because I'm about to get a green arrow. No, just because they're driving slowly. Okay. I don't know what else. I'll be back in a second. And I'm back. And I hope it's not like super twisted. I had to adjust it just a moment ago, and I haven't had a chance to check it because, like we've established, I can't really see what's going on since I don't have a mirror on me. I should like keep a small mirror in the car just for this. That would be perfect, and I can look at it. Or not, whatever. I think, no, that would probably be best. Or I'll just stick to the front-facing camera. And speaking of cameras, I remembered what I was talking about that I didn't actually finish, but the choices that I was making. I went back and pulled up my old phone, and then I started using it as a webcam to see what the camera quality was like, if it worked as a camera, so on and so forth, and give it a dry run, and it died while plugged in. And then my partner pointed out that it was having charging problems and the camera was crap, and that's why I wanted a new phone anyway. It was doing this weird thing where I have to shut it down to get it to charge, and not all the time. Sometimes it'll go for weeks and it'll be just fine, and then one day it'll decide it doesn't feel like charging and I'll have to reboot the phone to get it to charge. And it won't recognize that there's anything plugged in. I bet that looked really awkward. So, I think that one's out. I've still got my Nikon, but it's a very in-between device in that it's not like super slim. It's kind of bulky. It's got the big lens action going on, but it doesn't have huge lens action, and I can't swap the lenses. It doesn't have a detachable lens. So it's very in between. It's decent, but it can't get any better than it is. Which leads to it being super bulky. I can't stick it in a pocket. It would have to have kind of its own carrying case, and then it's just a huge extra bulk, which is why I don't carry it as much as I should, and why I probably don't take nearly as many pictures as I ought to. I thought I was going to have more to say on that, but then I didn't. And so that's kind of all there was for that. So, how was your day? Do you want to talk about the weather? Super awkward. I have a vlog and nothing to talk about. I have plenty to talk about. I just don't know. None of it's coming to mind right now. So it's after the 1st, which means everybody just got back from vacation. As I've stated, I do outsource tech support. So everybody's back from vacation. Everybody's let their passwords expire over winter, and now it's time for everyone to come in and discover that all their passwords are expired and they can't reset them properly. And so I don't think we've ever had a day with more password resets than the day after New Year's. I bet if we tracked tickets by day, incoming tickets by day of the year, we would find the most of them would be right after the Monday after New Year's. Whatever day it is, it's going to be a Monday, because passwords expire over the weekend all the time. which really isn't that bad by itself. Like, they're easy tickets. One place where we can solve them. Oh, that was a fun one. It wasn't fun. I mean, it's not that fun. They're not hard, and it's kind of exactly right for us to be dealing with them. It's just like a conflux of a kind of ticket that I am okay with getting. And it was a locked file type issue. That's file space type, or maybe file hyphen type, but not file type is a single word. A locked file issue. Sometimes, and this only happens, well, it doesn't only happen. Sometimes it happens in other things, but it's predominant in like a networked environment. And you'll go to open an Excel spreadsheet, and Excel will say that you can't, the file is locked for use by something, and it'll give a username. And sometimes that's useful information, and sometimes it actually isn't. Sometimes it's a user, and you go, oh, I know who that is. That's Gene down the hall. I'll go talk to them and get it sorted out, or something like that. But not always. Sometimes it's not super clear what it is, or maybe it's a service account that could be in multiple places. It's not a distinctive name or something like that. Shop computer is locked, this file. Who is shop computer? What does that even mean? So the trick, and there's a couple stages to this, you have to get on the file server. Why am I explaining it like this? This is a weird thing to explain. The thing is, you really need a systems admin to do it, because it needs to be someone who can dig around in the file server and look at the computer management console and actually like track down file links to see who's got it open, what computer they're on, and then direct them. And so when I went to it, I was like, oh, it's on so-and-so's computer. And the person who called in said, oh, I'm so sorry. And you don't have to apologize. This is a perfect thing, because this is what I need to be here for this. One of us has to take care of this, because this is in our court, and it's really like not your responsibility to know what parts shop computer means, right? Like, who is that? Nobody here is actually named parts shop. Like, what? So it's to a system administrator to know, oh, that's the secondary account on such and such's computer, and look at it and say, yeah, they do actually have it locked, and they're currently open, and say, oh, so such and such probably has it open on their machine. You should talk to them. And you actually do need an admin to do that. You don't have quite enough information from the thing. You know, I don't know what the point of that story was, but that was the thing. It happened, and the person like apologized, like they were wasting my time, but they weren't. That's what I'm here for. I have access to that kind of information, and I have the training in that specific area, so I can go get it. And it worked, and that was great. I don't know what the point of that was. So yeah, see you next week. Time.